Okay, so let's reflect what we have learned in our previous 1.5 hour just now. VLOOKUP has a little bit of rules here. So VLOOKUP says that they only match the leftmost column of your table, okay, and the data has to be in a ascending order. So they match only the first column. So I'm actually using the same kind of data that I have here, SUPA 101, and I'm looking for the description. But this time, the table given to me is different. It's no longer VLOOKUP ready. So if you look at this, your product ID is in the middle. It's no longer the first column. So that defies the rules of VLOOKUP. You cannot find the unit price the other way around. You can still find the description, but you will not be able to find the unit price because you can match this column and tell them to take the second column here. No problem. But you cannot tell them this column to match this unit price. It doesn't work. All right. So how are we going to do this is we are going to don't be bothered about this table, leave them alone, but we are going to give each of this column a name. Each of this column a name. Okay. So I'm going to use the choose function to help me. Okay. I'm going to use the choose function. See, we've got VLOOKUP choose, we've got index, we've got VLOOKUP. So I'm going to ask you to use this as your VLOOKUP choose. Now you know the problem with this table here is the column. And I'm not going to move any of the column. Right? So I'm going to highlight this whole table here. I go to formula and I want Excel to do this for me. I want them to name this column as category, name this column as unit price, and name this column as product ID, and the last column as description. So each column, I would like to give them a name. So for doing that, I need to make sure I click this button. Okay, I'm going to define the name by creating from a selection. Okay, it's inside your formula ribbon. Define names, create from selection. So I highlight this whole table, including my first row, which is the title. Then I click on this create from selection. So isn't this the selection that I have? So I'm going to use the top row as the name for each column, but I don't need my left column. If I use the left column, then I have each and every one here will have a name. I'm not interested in that. I only want the first column, first row as the title for each column. So all I need to do is just click OK. That's it. If I go back to my name box up here, and if I click the drop down list, I will be able to see the 4 names that I have just created. Okay, so can you do that? Just highlight all this and go to your formula ribbon up here, formula ribbon, and click on this create from selection. Once you click that, you tell them that you only want to have the top row, not left column, only the top row. And please, only do this action once, don't do twice. If you made a mistake, then go to the name manager, delete whatever that is a mistake. You delete whatever that you have made a mistake, and then start again. So when I say breaking the rules of this VLOOKUP says that whatever lookup value that you use must match the table, and whatever you want to match has to be in the first column. Now, the product ID is not in the first column. So we're going to break the rules now. We don't want to use just VLOOKUP. We're going to get some help. All right. So this is what you're going to write. Now you know all the columns already. Come here. I say equals to VLOOKUP. You're still going to use based on this SUPA 101. Based on this SUPA 101, C9, comma. So where is your table? We are not going to highlight the table anymore because the table is not helpful anymore. Therefore, we need to use an additional function to help us. So you're going to use the function called choose. Choose. Now, I'm going to define two columns only. Therefore, I'm going to use this curly bracket, 1, comma 2, and close curly bracket. The bracket is next to your alphabet P, the one above. So you have to press Shift square bracket. Then you type 1, comma 2, close the bracket. By doing this, basically you're telling them, okay, my index number, I got 2. I got 1, I got 2. I have 2. So what is your first column? So comma, and say my first column is my product ID. I'm trying to tell them now, my first column is called the product ID, comma. Then you tell them, what is your second column then? My description. Close bracket. Okay. So your value number 1, this one, is referring to product ID. The number 2 here is referring to the description. So how many columns do I have? 1 and 2. I have 2 columns. In other words, I'm actually using choose to collect my column that I need, arrange them in the order that follow the VLOOKUP rules. So the VLOOKUP say I need to use the product ID as my first column, then match the information that you're looking for. So I take the C9, which is the SUPA 101, and match inside this table, the first column, and take out column number 2. Understand? So when I close bracket, that will be my table array. So my table array now has column 1, column 2. So based on whatever that's in C9, you will match inside the column 1 and then take out column 2. Now, I haven't tell them that I need the information from column 2. So whatever that's happening is only for table array. This whole thing that I highlighted is the table array. So now I have to put a comma right at the back there. Now they ask you, column index number. So this is 1, this is 2. I'm looking for description, so I put 2. And I'm going to look for exact match, so I put 0. So VLOOKUP alone is no longer possible. And we do not want to move our table. I don't want to move the columns of my table. I just leave the table alone. So what I'm doing is I'm finding an alternative using the function called choose, and I can rearrange the column according to the rules set by VLOOKUP. So when you press enter, you get your product description. You can copy it out. Let me know if you need further explanation. Caroline? Meaning?
Got ready, sir.
Can get it. You understand why we are using choose, right?
Yeah.
So when you are at the mercy of the table and the table doesn't follow the VLOOKUP rules, no choice, no? We have to get some help. That's life, isn't it? When we cannot handle it ourselves, we get help from other people. So in this case, VLOOKUP cannot handle it. So they ask choose to help them to arrange the table based on the VLOOKUP rules. The VLOOKUP says you must only match the first column of your table array using your lookup value. But this table is not that. Therefore, you use choose function. Okay, so I'm going to copy this formula, copy this whole thing. I'm still using the same method for the second formula here. Now, everything is the same. Everything is the same, except that I am not looking for the second column, which is description. In this case, I'm looking for unit price. So I go for the unit price, and so my formula now can be copied down. Let me just color it. Okay. I'm using an orange color for this. Both formula is the same, except that my second column is now modified and changed to unit price. The first column is still the same, but my second column is different. Any question? Is Ang okay, no? Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, we do the second set of information now. Okay. The data is in here. The data is in here. So I want you to name each of this column using the title on top. Do you still remember how to do that? Highlight, go to the formula ribbon, create from selection. Then you just tell them to use the top row. So which are the column that we need? Customer name, gender, and origin. So it's still 6. Is it 6? No longer need to remember, isn't it? Even though I'm trying to remember, it's pointless, right? Because the customer ID is not your first column. So I need to find the customer ID to look for the customer. I need to use the customer ID to look for the gender. I need to use the customer ID to look for the origin. Okay, so my formula is no longer the 632 just now, but I need you to write the formula for me. Okay, over here. So equals to VLOOKUP B31, comma. Then I have to use choose again, 1, comma 2, curly bracket. First, so the first column is your cust ID. The second column is your customer name. Customer. Close bracket, comma 2, comma 0. Did you guys get the answer? Same, right? The same method. Choose function. First one is customer ID. Second one is customer. Everybody got it?
Yeah, got it.
Now, yeah. Alternatively, if you don't want to use this function, you can use another set of function called index and match. Okay, so this one is supposed to be plus, huh? Index and match. Okay, so this is how you're going to write it. Equals to index. So the function itself, the function itself, it has two sets of parameter, but we'll be using the first one. So index, this means uh, where you want me to find it. You're looking for something, right? You're looking for gender. So you tell them gender. So you say, oh, please go and look for the gender. Now, I do not know where is it. So I simply put one first, enter. So gender, I want to look for ADGA 382. So I come here, ADGA 382. This guy. So it's actually a female from New Zealand. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got a female. So if I'm looking for the origin, then I will put then 6 as well. But like, I'm looking for gender, so I tell them it's 6. So I get female. Now, do you think this is good? All right. The reason why it's not good because you need to go to the data and start counting it yourself. So might as well I just type the female, right? Why do I need to go and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Then I tell them it's 6. I mean, it's not that clever now. So how can we do this automatically? We include another function called match. So we don't use 6 and don't count it manually. We use the function called match. So we tell them, okay, match. What is your lookup value? Or I actually take this ADGA 382. Okay, where do you want to match? So I look inside the customer ID. So then can you please match inside the customer ID, comma. Then they ask you, do you want to look for the exact match? Yes, exact match. So 0. So it's the same thing, right? Very much similar like a VLOOKUP, but it's a combination of index and match. Now, index alone is useless. Match alone is also useless. Let me tell you why. So if I put here equals to match, so I tell them use this VTA, go to the customer ID, 0. See, when I press enter, they tell me it's 4. So why do you want to know 4? Why is it the answer 4? Okay, VEDA 634. VEDA 634, is it? So 1, 2, 3, 4. They tell you it's number 4. So one function tells you where is it. The other function tells you what to take out. So when you put them together, they are a perfect couple. So alone, they are useless. But when you put them together, they are good. Okay, so let me try the formula text here. Okay. So that's the formula that I'm using. It's orange. This one. Index and match. So an alternative to VLOOKUP and choose will be just index and match. Whichever you find them useful, okay? Whichever you think that is easier. Now, there is some write-up. There is some official document that was sent out by Microsoft saying that if you use VLOOKUP, chances your data and your processing is going to work a lot harder. That means it's going to take more memory to actually do VLOOKUP. Then if you plus VLOOKUP and choose, the memory use is even bigger. Okay. However, they tested the same kind of work to find the information. They realized that index and match require less memory power. Okay. So the processing is a lot faster. I'm sure you have certain work that in your office, whenever you are trying to use a VLOOKUP, you notice you have to wait very long before the answer can appear. The thing keep on turning, turning, turning. So you add another row, the thing turning. So because of the processing power that required by VLOOKUP is longer, so your processing is slower. But index and match can reduce the size. So if you can, use index and match. But in the event that it's pretty hard for you to explain to the rest of your colleague, then VLOOKUP they are good at, then just use this. Just make sure you have a good processing speed for your computer. Now, that report that was given may not be true, and it can be true. So it's up to you to test them out. Lah. And what my job here is to just tell you what are the formula that you can use.
So either one can use, right?
Yeah, either one.
Okay.
But a lot of people were saying that the index and match is way much more superior compared to the VLOOKUP.
Yeah. Maybe I want to ask,
Ah.
because sometimes I saw, because I using Google, Google,
Okay.
after the zero bracket, then we'll have, sometimes they will add on comma, zero, then bracket.
Which one? Which part?
After the match, okay,
Uh-huh.
B, 3, 1, okay. Then you have a comma, zero, bracket. Then
Mhm.
sometimes need to have comma, zero again. Here. Then
Oh, comma zero again.
Mm.
Now that is for your
Use
column number,
column number.
which is optional. That's why I just leave it.
Okay, okay.
Why I leave it? Because it's optional. Ma. If I don't tell you, that means there's nothing. No? That's why zero.
Okay, okay. Now understood.
Column number what? Zero. So nothing. La.
Okay. Okay.
So I
Okay.
actually not using column. So index and match can be used for V and H lookup combined. You understand?
Okay.
You can match the row. You
Mm,
can also match the column.
mm.
Okay. So that's a replacement for it. Lah. So when I don't mention, you notice column number is actually optional. Ma. So no need to tell them. Lah. But if you're hardworking, you put that comma zero, the answer is the same.
Okay.
No need to tell them. Lah. The more you see, the more confused you are, right?
Mm.
Right. So sometimes just leave it. Leave it. That is for the column number. Now we are not actually going to do it based on column number. Okay.
Okay.
Good observation there. I think you search through Google or WhatsApp
Yeah.
or whatever,
All
whatever.
this
Then
I
they,
search using Google.
but now you understand why we
Um,
don't put there, right?
mm,
Can also. Lah. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Now the next one that we are going to look at is called XLOOKUP. Okay. Fortunately, there are only 4 of you, and all 4 of you are using quite a latest Microsoft Excel. Therefore, you can use the XLOOKUP. If any one of you using an older version, then you might not be able to use the XLOOKUP. Okay. So who was it just now says you're using 2021? Is it
E.
maybe Kala, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
So can you try this? Can you put equal to XL?
Wait a
Do you have
second.
XLOOKUP?
I have.
Have, right? Like I said,
Have.
2021 has lah. So
Has.
we are lucky lah that you are using 221. If you tell me, oh no, I'm using 2019, then don't have.
Okay.
Okay, so you have so the function is called XLOOKUP. Another option that you can use besides VLOOKUP, index and match, you can also use XLOOKUP. I personally would love to use this XLOOKUP because it's so much more convenient and easy to understand. So let's read. There are quite a number of parameters here that we can use. And there are quite a number of parameters. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now these are the 3 mandate one that you must use. The other 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, 2 and 3. These 3 are optional. Altogether, there are 6 here. So you can always ignore the last three, don't worry about it. But if you want to use it, let me explain to you why you use it in the first place. Okay. So the first thing they want you to tell them is your lookup value. Very similar to VLOOKUP, they always ask for your lookup value. Very similar to your match, they also ask you for your lookup value. So the lookup value in this case is ADGA 382, comma. So you want to match this ADGA 382 in where? Customer ID. You notice you directly just go there. You don't need to use the match function. You just tell them, okay, take this B31, look inside customer ID, comma. Then you tell them, what do you want to extract? See, return array. So you just tell them is origin. And so when you press enter, you already have the answer. So equals to formula text of this time. There you go. Let me just use red color. So very direct. So the formula is getting shorter, right? It's getting shorter, X lookup. So if I put here, right, if I put here, I say Kelvin. Now, in my customer ID, there is no such thing called Kelvin. There's no customer ID called Kelvin. Therefore, I'm getting NA, NA, NA. Okay, so for this first formula, VLOOKUP, how can I get rid of this NA? If they cannot find my name, then I want them to appear something else. Because VLOOKUP, they don't care. It's like I cannot find, I tell you NA. Therefore, you need to add something in front here. In front of the formula, you say there if error. If the VLOOKUP is an error, then you tell them empty. Don't put anything. Double quote, then double quote. And you close bracket. So when you press enter, you don't see any error message. You are suppressing the error message. So you can even do things like this, right? You say wrong code. You can put there wrong code. So then the word wrong code will appear. Okay. Same goes with this guy. If I want to get rid of this NA, I have to go to the formula in front of this. If this index and match produce an error called NA, then I put that if error. Then I'll do the same thing. Comma, wrong code. There you go. You get wrong code. So now we added another function called if error. If error. So you don't expect VLOOKUP to always match an information for you. Sometimes your code is wrong or you type something different. Therefore, you're going to get an error. The error is always NA. Okay, so if you use VLOOKUP, you need to use the function called IFERROR to suppress the error from coming up and change it to something you want to mention. Same goes with index and match. You look at the orange color on top. I added something called IFERROR and I say it's wrong code. If everybody
Sorry,
okay?
sir. Sorry, sir. Can I repeat the if error again? Sorry.
Okay, so let me just give you something here. Let's just say I put okay, I go down a little bit. So I got 1, I got A. Right. So I put here. So I have this formula here say equal to this plus A. We discussed this earlier. You see, this is an error.
Yeah.
Correct? So
Yes.
I said, hey, I don't want to show this error to my bosses. So what do? I come in front here and say, if the calculation So yeah, if error, if B46 plus B47 is an error, you see there's an error on top value. Okay, then let's understand. So this is what we call the value lah, whatever that you calculate lah. If this answer returned with the error, so yes, it's an error, then what is the value if error? So if this is error, then show something else. So I want to show here, okay, cannot compute. You can put something like that, cannot compute. So when I press enter, it says cannot compute. But if I put here 3, so 1 plus 3, the answer is 4, right? So no problem, no error, therefore they give you 4. When they cannot compute, right? I put here A, they cannot compute, they tell you, oh, I cannot compute it. So instead of showing the error message, now, what are you doing? What are you doing? You actually tell them, don't show the error, but show the word cannot compute. So the if error serves as a checker. Hey, are you an error? Oh, no, no continue lah. Hey, are you an error? Yes, yes. Then you use this word. So same here, you see, I say if the VLOOKUP, okay, so if I come here, the value is your VLOOKUP. If this VLOOKUP is an error, then you show wrong code. If the VLOOKUP is not an error, then you show the name. So I will copy this one down. You don't feel anything for the rest of them, even though there's a if error. Even though there's a if error, the if error didn't take place because OLCH900 is inside my database. Therefore, they can find that this is Oliver Cherry. When there is a match, they tell you the match. But when they cannot find the match, like Kelvin, they say there's no Kelvin in this list. Therefore, wrong code. Okay? When they try to match this VLOOKUP, you say cannot find Kelvin. Okay, then show wrong code. Instead of NA, they show wrong code. Can you understand, Sarah?
Yes, sir, can. Clear already.
So this is the same thing. So if the index and match produce error, then show me the wrong code. So therefore, you need to use something called if error. So this VLOOKUP and index match, you need to work with if error a lot. Okay. However, if you are using something called XLOOKUP, okay, XLOOKUP, let me just move in here. Now, you look, what did they say here? What does it say? If not found. If this XLOOKUP cannot find, okay, cannot find the information, right now is NA. So you can actually go in, after this, you put a comma, okay, wrong code. Sorry, too many brackets. Just tell them it's wrong code. So you see, this is actually the wrong code. So if XLOOKUP cannot find the information, then just choose the word wrong code. Tell them to use wrong code. Replace the error message NA. Right? So you see, I take this away. You see, this is NA, ma? So I tell them, please don't show NA. Show here color. So now they show color. Every time I put a code that is wrong, they put a color. No lah, not color lah. Put here invalid code. It can be any wording that you want to add. So XLOOKUP have thought of everything already. Most of the time when people write this VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, this index and match, they're bound to have something that they cannot match. So what is the meaning of that error, the NA? You can put there wrong code. The meaning they cannot find is code doesn't exist. You can put there code doesn't exist. You can put there, try a new code.
Hi, Kevin. I want to ask,
Mm,
now only I know that the VLOOKUP will take more processing time. Let's say because I got 7,500 rows.
mm,
So I need to look up around 20 columns. So
mm.
I think, do you think I need to change to index match or XLOOKUP?
Use index match will be better. If you
Okay.
can, if this formula is only for your own purpose, you are not really going to send to a lot of people outside your
Mm,
organization.
mm.
It's only for your own internal, and everyone in your company is using Office 365. I suggest you use XLOOKUP.
Oh no, this is just for my restock purpose for the stock.
Then you use XLOOKUP. Don't even use index and match or VLOOKUP. They are very memory hungry.
Mm. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Mm,
Now,
okay.
why you use index and match is because you are sending the file, let's just say to Kelvin, me, and
Mm.
I'm using Office 2013 or maybe 2016. My version don't have XLOOKUP, so I can still see your work,
Oh, okay, okay. Understood.
okay? Because I cannot use XLOOKUP, my computer don't have.
Mm, mm.
But since it's only internally, I suggest you use just XLOOKUP, will be
Okay.
better.
Okay, thank you.
This will have even lesser processing speed.
Mm,
And they have improved a lot
mm,
over the years.
okay, thank you.
So if it's for yourself, XLOOKUP lor. Not for one
Mm,
VLOOKUP, right? Just use
mm.
XLOOKUP. And then you don't even need to have an additional function called if error. The more function you embed inside, the longer they actually take to process. So this one is one function kills everything really. Right? So you may want to just reconsider using XLOOKUP. So before you start, you name the column, easy for you. Huh? Easy for you to find. All right, now you notice Kelvin doesn't exist, right? Kelvin doesn't exist. Okay, so I go to this database. I add in one more. Okay, assuming I add in here Kelvin, right? Then I put here Malaysia. Oops, sorry, Malaysia. Then this fellow name is Kelvin Ng, and I'm a male. My number, whatever number lah. Then my email address, Kelvin at email.com. Okay, whatever lah. Now, do you think they know now? They still don't know. Okay? They will not be able to know that you added one more person here. Okay, so I'm going to remove this guy. I put it away first. Put it away first. Now, another extra work for you guys. Extra work lah. But you only have to do once only. Okay, so you need to select this, right? Like this. One column by one column. So I have 6 column here. I have to do 6 times. So I just go to insert table. So the shortcut key is Control T. Therefore, I highlight, I press Control T, then there is this error here, and this particular dialog box here. So it says that your data is from B4, B3 to B14. My table has a header. So you just click OK. Now you continue to do first. Or if you don't want, you can tell them to clear the color. Don't want color. Then you do the second one. Control T, right? Okay. Then clear the color. Control T. We're going to do this 6 times. Like this. Control T. Okay. Now, don't worry, you only need to do this once. It looks like so much work, but this one not every time, just once only. Highlight this, Control T, okay. Yeah. All right, I'm done. So if I highlight this, okay, before that, I go to my VLOOKUP. You see, this is still wrong code, invalid code. If I add this to the bottom, okay, wait, I should add one by one now. Okay, so I take this Malaysia, I add it here. I take this Kelvin, put it here. Take this one, put it here. So you just imagine you are typing in the new data, typing the new data. Oops, sorry. Correct. Okay. So let me just cut this guy, put it up here. Okay, so now I have added already. See what happened to my lookup here. Kelvin Ng, male, Malaysia. No more error. So if your data is increasing, so let me just put here, Miss Ang, or maybe this one I call that ANG lah, Ang. Then this one is Miss Ang. Okay. Miss Ang is a female, okay, also from Malaysia. Okay. And your phone number, okay, followed by your email. ang@email.com. Okay, something like that. So if I come down here now, I change this to ANG, Ang. Okay, I can get it. I just have to concentrate adding in new record. Can you guys understand what I was saying? Now, I'm just trying to prepare your convenience. So if your data, you use all these columns, remember we name each of the column, you have to do 6 times. Now, if a lot of column are not used you don't have to bother. But the one that you use, you just add on. Just add on the data as usual. But you have to do one column by one column. You cannot do together. Okay, so the moment you add in the new item, your VLOOKUP will consistently get it. Right? So if I come down here, I say, okay, this one is Kalai Mala. Okay, Kalai Mala, let's just say you are from Malaysia. So, okay, you are female. Okay, so this is your number. Okay, so I come down here for this one, Kalai. Then over here, I just put a K dot Mala at email.com. All right, so I added Mala. So when I come down here, I just change any one of these one to Mala. It comes out automatically.
Sense, sir. So if let's say we want to add on number 12, which is color, it will be appeared, right? Still appeared, right?
Sorry again?
If let's say we add on VLOOKUP, so we add on 12, number 12. So my name, Kalai. So it will be appeared the customer, the gender, origin, correct?
No, you have to copy the formula down.
Oh, copy. Oh, okay. Because it's empty, is it?
Yeah, there's no formula.
Okay.
For this one, you just need to copy the formula down. But this one, new data entry, you don't have to worry whether your VLOOKUP will work or not if you got new item. Just add on only.
Oh.
These are your original raw data. So I add on 3 Malaysian here. Okay, so I have mailing also. So I have Chen Hui Ling. Okay, so these are the people. So all these are Malaysian. So all female. Okay, the number I just copy down, doesn't matter. So for this one, I put there MEI. This one I put there LENG. Right. So this one don't care lah. What call it? The address don't care lah. So if I come down here, right, I have number 13, I have number 14. So I have MEI, I have LENG, right? So these are the new one that I added. So all I need to do is just come here, just copy the formula down. Kalan, I hope I answer your question. The data need all that
Yes,
work
sir.
lah.
Clear.
But once only lah. You just convert them into table one by one, once only.
Mhm.
The good news is they become dynamic after that. Hailing? Hailing? You guys okay there? So just keep quiet. If you don't
Yes,
understand
yes.
anything, please ask.
Understand.
Okay, all good. Now, if all good, then we do the next one here. We look up across the worksheet. Now, if I type here in B3, I type JAN, I would like the amount here to show me the January amount for AMCA 271. So AMCA 271, the amount is 7340. So I need 7340 over here based on the customer ID. But when I change it to February, I want this to give me the answer from February worksheet. AMCA, where is AMCA? Okay, right, no, here, AMCA. The answer is 3446. For March, AMCA is 1484. So you notice, AMCA 7340. Okay, 7340. Then this one is 3446, and this one is 1484. Okay, so whenever I change the month in this February, I want them to be able to find the information for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is, this is January. I highlight this table. Okay, I call this as JAN. JAN. Okay, then I go to this February. I like the table. I call it as FEB. Then I go to this March. I like the table. I call this one as MAR. You just have to make sure that the first column are all customer ID lah, because you are looking on the amount based on the customer ID lah. Okay, so assuming this is January now, so our VLOOKUP is like that lah. VLOOKUP based on this AMCA, then I go to JAN, comma, that's number 4, comma, then 0. Now, I believe you understand what is this formula all about. So I get 7340 lah. January ma. 7340 ma. AMCA, like 7340. So they found 7340. But the problem is when I change this to February, it didn't change, because this formula still refer to JAN. Okay, so let me just put the formula up here. Formula text. Okay, it is still referring to JAN even though you change it to February. So now, how can I tell them, hey, if this is February, then this one is February. Okay, so what do I do here? Can I change this one to February? Now, I don't want to change it manually myself, right? Do you want to change this one manually yourself?
No.
No,
Oh,
right?
no.
So now all of you are using 365. You can write this function. If IFS. So your logical test here is if this cell B3 is equals to JAN, right? Then what? JAN. Okay. Then you tell them if this B3 is equals to February, then February, no? Otherwise, MAR. Let's see whether it works or not. So it says cannot. Okay, so we have to tell them logical test. This is value if true. Logical test, value if true. Then suddenly logical test. So we have to tell them if this guy is equals to no, then it's not. So we can stop anytime. Why am I not getting this? Why is it not be able to do this? But this one is text, right? This one is text. So inside here, you cannot just simply type JAN, FAN, string. So you must put in this open quote, close quote. Okay, let's try first. Let's try first. See, I can get the answer. So if I put here MAR, then you're 1484. If I put here JAN, it will be 7340. So the additional item that I add on in this formula is the if logic. So I'm using something new, something new in your Office 365, which is equal to IFS. Usually it's just IF, but this one is IFS is when you have multiple conditions. You don't have to write multiple if. So it says there, logical test. Then what is the value if true? They don't have value if false one. They will ask you to write another logical test. So if I put here, if this cell is equals to, I forgot to put the thing just now, so I put a JAN. Now, after I have done that, okay, then they start asking you, what is your second logical test? Comma. So they ask you for your logical test 2, value if true 2. So it comes in a set. One condition, one answer. If it's not, then they move on to the next condition. If it's not, then they move on to another condition. That's what it actually means here.
So I
Yeah.
have a question.
Mm.
We did there is months, right? Okay. So I got ready. So I got the I can change ready February, March. But when I try to drag the first formula to the next KEVY I try to drag, but it's showing N/A and A.
Why?
Why?
Now, because this B3 is relative. So B3 will become B4, then B5, B6, B7. Now, that's the reason why I haven't copied down yet. So what do you think I should do in order, see, like you said, if I copy down, I got NA. They are there, why you tell me NA? Now, when I point this now, you notice they no longer refer to this.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So
Understand already.
what do we need to do here? So this guy, the B3, we need to lock it. Lock it.
$sign.
This one is permanent, right? We are not moving them. Now, if we copy this, we don't have a problem. That's where this morning when we talk about the references like relative and absolute, it's very important for you to understand why. If you don't understand why, then you don't have a solution to it. So now you know you put a dollar symbol, they will stay. So you put a dollar symbol and they will stay. So alternatively, you can call this one as month. You can click here, you call this one as MONTH, right? You know what I mean? So in your formula, you don't have to put a dollar symbol. You can put there MONTH, right? This is MONTH. This is MONTH. Do you still remember this? I told you
Yes.
that name is actually
Right.
absolute reference.
Yeah, I
So
got ready.
if I copy this one down, I got no problem also. Because they tell me, oh, this month is equal to JAN. So if you write your formula like this, it's very descriptive. Whoever take over your work, when they read it, they also find it easy to understand. Because you're using name rather than all the dollar sign and so on. But only works for absolute referencing. You don't go and give name to this B8, If you give name to this B8, then it will stick to this. It will not go down. This B8, and this B8. You want them to go to EVYO, ADDO, VEDA, OLCH, then you make sure you don't lock it. Just leave it as B8. Now, this is your first option. This is your first option how you can use the if function. Many ways to write the if functions. It's just how creative you are in mixing them up together. So you notice we are no longer writing a direct VLOOKUP. Even the information is coming from 3 different worksheets, we can still manage. So we write an if logic for the table array. Now, an alternative to this is using indirect, using the function indirect. So can I move on to this? The indirect?
Yes.
Okay, now let's take a look. I'm still going to write my VLOOKUP that says, right, equals to indirect, but I need to do something first, right? So these are all the customer ID, correct? Here, they also have customer ID. So how can I use the indirect to do this job? So I tell them, use the ID, but look for the month. Okay, so VLOOKUP based on this guy. Now, instead of telling them JAN, then take number 4, take 0. That was our initial formula. Am I right? So we get all the answer. Now, why is this okay? Because I type JAN. Now, but when I change this to February, as you know, they don't care. Because this formula has nothing to do with this guy yet. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Right? So here. Now, instead of JAN, I tell them indirect, whatever in this cell month. Whatever in this cell called month. And when I press enter, the number change. You notice the number change already? So if I change it to JAN, they change. If I change this one to MAR, they change. So it's a shorter formula. It's a way, way shorter formula. Oops, sorry. Rather than if. So you imagine if you have not 3 months, but 12 months. How long will your if logic going to be? Right? But this one, whatever you type, they are going to use this name, MAR, and put it inside the formula. And MAR is referring to the month of March. So when you name the table earlier, you name it JANFEBMAR, you must make sure that you type in B3 exactly the name that you want. JANFEBMAR. Any one of you here don't understand, please open up your mic and ask. So which one do you prefer? Both works, huh? Both ways can still achieve.
Why my one is showing that name then question mark. It's showing
What did you do?
the VLOOKUP F9 indirect month 40.
You type MONTH.
Yes. No, I just click when it's appeared.
B3. Type B3.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
click
I
B3
changed
or
already
what?
the March. When I changed the March, and then it's showing like that. Unrecognized
you see,
text.
you click here. Is it called month?
Which has a...
You
Oh,
go to
no, no.
B3. That means
No.
you have not named this as month.
Oh.
So you go to the name box, type here month. Because they are looking for the name called month, they cannot find it.
Oh, okay. Now okay already.
Because you copy my formula straight away, right? MONTH, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't name this as MONTH.
Month. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Now, when you say name, my first thing that come to my mind is my formula. I didn't use a lot of wording except for MONTH and indirect. The VLOOKUP, I don't think you will make a mistake lah. So indirect, if you spell wrongly, they will tell you lah. But if you say name, that means only one that uses name is MONTH. So MONTH, you get the error called name. That means this name is not recognized. This
Okay.
MONTH that you type is not recognized. Then I ask you to check B3. Did you use the word name or not?
Okay, got it.
So if you don't want to use the month, MONTH, you can point it to B3. But you must remember to lock it before you copy down. Okay, so imagine this, I didn't use this, but I used B3. So this B3, I have to lock it. This B3, this B3, I lock it. Then I can copy it down. If I don't, then I'll get error again. Right. Now, since B3 is already named as month, then when I click on this B3, automatically the name month will appear. So now, the only place that control my entire report is B3. So if I type here JAN, they'll change my report here to JAN. Okay. So you imagine this, this is what I'm using, okay, the customer ID, and I change this into a chart. So this is the chart. Okay, this is the chart. So when I change this to MAR, then the chart moves. If I change this to February, then the chart will move. Why the chart moves? Because they follow this data. Now, this is how a lot of people create their, what you call this, interactive chart. So if you're preparing your dashboard, you say, okay, now let's talk about March. So your chart moves according to the value for March. Isn't it? No big deal, right? So I can take away this guy. Okay? I don't want the line. I want to make this one bigger. I go to this data series. So I got this data series. I reduce the gap. Reduce the gap. So these columns here are getting bigger. Getting bigger. And I tell them, let's put in the data label, but at the top. So these are the data label. Okay, so when I choose January, so when you look at the chart, you don't have to look at the number here anymore. You look at this. So they will change. So if I change this one to February, it change. So I just modify the chart a little bit. So what I did was just now, right? I tell them the gap width, I make it smaller so that my chart will become wider. Now, when I say the gap width is actually between the two, this is the gap width. So if I set it to 0, they'll stick together. I don't want I want it to have a little bit of space. So for the axis, I remove it because I put in the label. Right? You notice for the axis, I take away the primary axis. The primary axis is this guy. So I just take this guy, delete. I don't need the axis because I already have the label to help me with. That's how you build a dashboard. Okay. So if I cover this up, right, cover that up. When I change this one to MAR, I can present my data. Okay. I take this one JAN, I present my data. But of course, if I want to show my data with the chart, then I don't cover. Can take this and cover it, like nobody see the data, nobody will ask. Both of these are producing the same information. Both of these are producing the same information. So you just have to mess around with whether you want to use the IFS, the function, or you want to use indirect. To me, I personally like the indirect because I don't like long formulas. Short formula like this is so fun. So instead of just this, okay, everyone, look at my screen for a while. I'm going to write another formula here. Okay, I'll write another formula here. So I put here equals to if, right, max, the highest value in this range, the highest value in this range, okay, is equal to this C8. Right? So what I need to do is this I need to lock lah. I need to lock it. So I press F4. Then show the value. Otherwise, empty. Now, what am I doing? I get a 7340. Now the rest of this will be empty because 7340 is the highest in the list, so they'll show this. If it's not the highest, then empty. So if I go to February, you notice that 9002 is the highest. The rest is not the highest. So what is the formula that I wrote here? I just write an if to find out which one is the highest value. That's all. So I say if the highest of this range is equals to that whatever value, you see the C8. So this is C8 ma. When I copy down, it becomes C9. When I copy down, it becomes C10. So I let them be lah. So what am I going to do with this is, I'm going to click this. I'm going to click this. Then I'm going to go to the chart. Okay, I can actually just drag this over lah. Drag this over like that. Now you notice I have two. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I right click this column, the data series. So I'm going to turn this to 0. Okay. So I make it to 100% overlap. So whenever the value is the highest, it will be showing the orange color. So JAN, this will turn orange. So because the rest is empty, not showing anything. Only one cell, cell got color. So it's 730. So if I put March, MAR, so it's ADDO. So if I put here February, it's also ADDO. Maybe I put March a different one. Wait, who are the rest? Veda. Okay, Veda. 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 So let's make this one 9. Okay. So if I put here MAR, okay, Veda will be the highest. Okay, so the formula that I create here, so that they will only show when the value is the highest, right? You notice nothing happened. Nothing happened when I didn't add this one. I didn't add this column. So I select my chart, I just add this across. Suddenly, this one appear. But when they appear, by default, they are not overlapping. They're like that. They are not overlapping. So I would just want it to be the series to be 100% overlap. It's not that it's not there. The blue color is there. It's just that I cover it. So if I didn't put 100%, they are overlapping it. But since I want it to be 100%, but the color will move to the highest. So if I want the highest to become red color, then when I change this one to February, it will be red color. So do you guys like what you see?
Yes, looks nice.
Yeah, the VLOOKUP can do a lot of work for you automatically. The rest of it is how much you know about your Excel. And there you go. You can have something like this. This is what we teach in a dashboard class, using Excel to prepare the dashboard, not Power BI, using Excel. Because we usually need to present charts in our dashboard, right? And we want our dashboard to be something dynamic. As in when we change it to a different month, we want to know which customer actually buy the highest from us.
So is it Excel is good for this graph or Power BI? Which is the
Power BI,
best?
of course. Power BI,
Power
of
BI.
course. But Power BI have a higher, or shall I say, have a steep learning curve. Since you already know Excel, when you move into Power BI, it's a little bit easier for you. For those of them who have not used Excel and they go into Power BI, they might struggle a bit because concept-wise, they might lose out. But since you already know Excel, the concept of getting your Power BI to work, you are at the advantage lah, because you know how to write the formulas, you know about charts, and so on. But those people who have zero knowledge, it's a little bit steep. The learning curve is a bit steep. This is my personal opinion. So if you have an advantage of using Power BI, go ahead, stick to Power BI. But not everybody so lucky. When you want to send your Power BI report to other people, cannot. You're on your own. Unless you buy the software, sorry, you subscribe to the Power BI services, then you can share.
But
So it's
Kevin,
a
I
bit different.
think instead of go to Power BI, Power Pivot also can, right? Power Query.
Power Query, Power BI, they are all in Microsoft Excel. Yes. But she asked me about chart. Is it better Power BI or Microsoft Excel?
Mm.
So like I said, if you know your Microsoft Excel very well, you know how to use Power Query, you know how to use Power Pivot, you know how to build all these charts. When you move to this Power BI, no problem, because you know Power Query already, you know Power Pivot already. As opposed to those people who doesn't know Excel at all or know very little about Excel. When they learn Power BI, the learning curve is very steep for them. Too many things to remember.
But for Excel, we hardly share to other people, right? Like Power
Oh, you,
BI, they
you,
can
you'll
just
be
click on it.
surprised. You'll be surprised. A lot of people share it, especially once they finish, they put
Mm.
their report in the SharePoint server,
Mm.
the SharePoint table. So everybody can go and see, because they build their own internal, what do you call that, web, internal web page, using SharePoint. So whenever there's any updates in the Excel, the table, the chart will move on. So it's not Power BI, it's actually still Excel, because they share their Excel to everyone. You need to use your SharePoint server. So do you know Power Query and Power Pivot? Sam?
Yeah, I'm
You learned
using.
before.
I
You're
learned
using already.
from. Actually, I attended Power BI, but I didn't subscribe lah. So I use the knowledge to put into Power Pivot, Power Query. Then I search Google.
Same thing,
Yes.
of course, not
Mm,
exactly the same interface,
mm,
but the loading part is a bit different.
mm.
Okay, good. At least you equip yourself with all this knowledge, then yeah,
Yeah.
you can do.
Because I don't want to manual doing because my boss requesting for sales report. So if I'm manual, I need to because we got a lot of outlet. I need to use around 15 days to copy and paste. So now I just use a Power Query and copy
Good,
and paste very fast for me. Just within
good
few
option.
days, I can just finish it.
Mm. So once you have the power, you will continue to use it.
Mm,
That's why they call it Power Query. So it's really, really powerful.
mm.
Okay, so let's close this file. Mhm. And I'm going to the next file. I'm going to close all my files first. So let's go to number 5. You guys have this file? Yeah, nah? Now, if you look carefully, there are two worksheets here. One is called January, one is called February. Lah. Okay. So there are some people who use Excel for their payroll. So January, these are all the people that they pay. And in February, these are all the people that they pay. Okay. You know what I'm saying, right? Now, let me give you a scenario now. If you pay the salary to these people, this staff, in the month of January, okay, but when it comes to February, right, their names are not there on it. What do you understand from this statement? I repeat, these are the employees that we pay in the month of January, but when we go to February, their names, some of them are not here anymore.
Okay.
So
Or
we say
just
they are part-timer.
temporary,
Part-timer lah, temporary staff
part-time,
lah,
yes, part-time.
part-time. But all these are full-time staff. All these are full-time staff. They are not temporary. What does that mean if they are no longer available in February? I pay them
Resign,
in January. So
maybe resign.
most probably they resign, right? Most probably they resign. So question now is, I have two tables which is side by side like this, two worksheets like this. I need you to tell me who has resigned. And can you write the formula in column G? Does anybody know how to do this? I want to know which, or so I say who has resigned.
Refer to A2 and then we look up A2, refer to the table February and look for the
Look for what?
I like this.
Yeah, what are you looking for if you say refer to February? So since you use
anything,
A2, anything,
any column. For me, I usually any column. As long as A column is fixed.
so what I have here is January, one table called January. I named them for you already. Another table here, February, which is wrong. So my table is not here, it's inside another worksheet one. So what do you do when you name them wrongly? If you made a mistake, name them in the wrong place, what do? You go to formula, then you click on the name manager. So February is wrong, right? We're pointing to the wrong cell. This February is supposed to be somewhere else. So you highlight this, delete it, and go to the correct one. So go to February, then you highlight all the way down. You can exclude the column G, no problem, just until G here. So now you just click the check mark and then close. So let's see where is January again. January, this is January. Then February, it goes to the worksheet February, not the right-hand side just now. Okay, so let's follow what Ms. Ang said, equals to VLOOKUP A2, right? Comma, then go to February, right? We take whatever employee number in January, we go and match what is in February, comma. So let's make up your mind. What is it that you are looking for?
D hours. We use hours.
Sorry?
Hours, column D. Yes, I'm saying number 4. 4.
That is number what? Number 4.
Number 4. Wait,
4. Then comma. Is it true or false? It has to be false, because you're using A2,
False.
A2GW29, false, Yes. The question, why you want to use column 4 and you get this number? Is it important to know the number? What do you think? Is it important to know the number? No, now actually in this exercise, we are not actually using VLOOKUP to find a match. I repeat myself, I'm actually doing this exercise because I'm trying to tell you, we are not looking for a match. Like Miss Ang said, any column lah. So any column, she choose 4 lah. So any column. Okay? This exercise is for me to find the unmatched data. When I say unmatched, I'm actually expecting an error. I want to look for an error. So if you are actually going to show it to your boss, you will tell your boss, you look at the error lah. The error means this person resigned. Now it will sound very bad that you submit this report with this. So how are you going to turn it around and show only who has resigned? Okay, so for this formula, I just put the formula text next to it first. So for this formula, I will put something in front, right? Something before the VLOOKUP. I'll put there. This time, I'll introduce something called is error. Is error. Then I go to the back, I close the bracket. So I'm asking the Excel this question. Now, earlier I say is number. This time I say is error. So I'm asking Excel, hey, Excel, this VLOOKUP, is it an error? Is this VLOOKUP an error? So I press enter. They say, no, it's not an error. So when I copy it down, see, all those that is not an error will get false. All those that is error will get true. So far, so good. So I just add on this is error first. Then, after that, I'll put there if VLOOKUP is an error, right? So I go to the back here. If this is an error, then I want you to show the name. So I put there B2, okay, N space and C2. I want to show the name. But if it's not an error, then don't show me anything, just empty. So now I get empty. But when I close down, you look for this true, you get very barely. Okay. So if you want to put in some other thing inside the formula, you can. So you can put there, maybe you don't want to put here, right? This thing, you can put here, space, resigned. So put there, barely resigned. So I copy, barely resigned. If you want a full name, you put a full name. If you don't want, you can shorten it. So this is the one that appears. When it is not an error, I just leave it empty. So if you don't want the B2, the word Barry also can just put there resigned. Mei Ling?
Okay.
Enough. Correct? Miss Ang?
Yes, sir. Trying. Trying now.
Okay, good. So do it slowly. Make sure we look up first. You don't copy my formula. No. You must understand why you write. So first formula you should write is VLOOKUP. After you write the VLOOKUP, then you add in the is error. You're switching your answer to true or false. So what can you do with true and false? So then you write the if logic. You say if the VLOOKUP is an error, true, then you tell them, oh, this one resigned. But when it's not an error, that means they are still active. You just leave it blank. How is it, Mr.? Does it work? For error.
I'm stuck. Too many argument now. I'm checking.
Okay,
See.
so I start all over again. You take a look. I put that equals to VLOOKUP. Then I take this guy, go to February, right? I don't care what is it lah. I can put 1 also, never mind. Comma 0. So that's what I get. So the first thing you have to get is whatever that is correct, got something lah. Whatever that's not correct is wrong. So now I want to switch the answer. I don't want to see the code. I don't want to see the error. So over here, what do I add? Is error. So just go to the back here and close. So you are asking Excel, hey, this VLOOKUP for error or not? Now you notice just now got answer, that means it's not an error lah. So they go false.
Oh, okay.
False. But the one with the error suddenly become true. Okay. So what can we do with true and false? Okay, so let's look here. Equal to if. So in this if function, you have to tell them what is your logical test. So this whole thing is actually your logical test. So if this is correct, you want them to go to true. If this is wrong, you want them to go to false. Okay, so now you go into the formula, you just write in front here, you put the if. Now, the whole thing is your logical test already. Okay, so what you do is at the back here, you just put a comma. So what do you want to do? Okay, maybe I'll just straight away put there resigned. Okay, otherwise, empty. So this is test, this is true, this is false. So it's empty because I tell them if it's not an error, then empty. So you copy it down, the word resigned.
Got ready, sir. Thank you.
Right. So do step by step. Now, if you ask me to write this right from the beginning, also I cannot do it. So I have to do one step. Or I got my answer, then I continue, then I continue. Oh, maybe Taiju Tak can now, but no. But I'm saying that most of the people who use Excel may not be able to visualize how it looks like. So do step by step lah. Who is chasing after you, right? Do slowly, as long as you get it right. So Mei Ling and Hui Ling can get Mei Ling also can Okay, now let's do the other way around. Can I have your attention, everyone? Let's look at February. Now, these are the employee which I pay in the month of February. These are all of them. Then, in January, some of the names that you pay in February is not in January. So I need you to tell me who are they and why their name is not in January. What are the possible answer there?
New join.
Yes, very good. So they are your new staff. So I want you to give me a status here saying that if they are not in January, right, that means these are the new staff. So can you write for me? I don't want to know who is already there. I want to know who are the new staff. So when you copy down, you should see that Terry Binga, James Rich, Peter Allen, Lance Davis, Joshua, Jerry McDonald. These are the new staff. Because their name does not exist in January. They are the new staff. Okay, so let's put a formula up here. So it's very similar to the first formula, but now you're using the A to look inside January. Using the A2 and look inside January, take out whatever, it doesn't matter. So if they can get the answer, good. But if you cannot get the answer, there will be an error, NA. So our target is the NA. So you say if it's an error, then new stuff. If it's not an error, then just leave it empty. So this exercise, as the name suggests up here, find the unmatched data. So there are products that in your office or project that you, when you have two tables, you want to know which table, which project is no longer there or which product is no longer available in that table. So don't use your eyeball to check left and right. Just use the VLOOKUP because they will be using the same product code. So if the product code is not in here, then you take, this guy is already no longer there. There will be an error. That error simply means something. So in our example, our error, the first one is resigned. The second one here is new staff. So I'm using January and February as an example to check who are the new staff, who are the staff that resigned for January. Okay, so using VLOOKUP is not always about looking for the data. Sometimes it's the opposite of the VLOOKUP. We are actually looking for the error.